You know, sometimes you just need to cut through all the noise, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the corporate world, to get to what really works for leadership.
Absolutely. There's so much theory out there.
Exactly. So that's what we're diving into today. Leadership by example.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. Have you ever been more struck by what a leader did than by anything they actually said?
Oh, definitely. Actions speak volumes, as the saying goes. It resonates on a gut level, I think.
That's the core idea we want to explore today. Why that visual, that action is so powerful.
Yeah, digging into why seeing is often believing when it comes to leadership.
Okay, so leadership by example. We all kind of know the phrase, but let's really nail it down. What does it mean in practice? It's more than just like showing up on time, right?
Oh, much more. Fundamentally, it's about guiding others, influencing the workplace culture through your own behavior. It's the classic walk the talk.
Walking the talk.
Yeah. If you want your team to be, say, proactive or collaborative, you need to consistently be proactive and collaborative yourself. You're showing how it's done.
So it's active, it's demonstrating.
Exactly. Leadership isn't just a position or a speech. It's, continuous performance of your values.
But does that mean leaders have to be perfect? Like never make a mistake? Because, well, that sounds impossible.
Not at all. Actually, that's a really important point. Perfection isn't the goal. It's more about consistency and integrity.
Integrity, okay.
Yeah. Do your actions generally line up with the values you say are important? Especially when things get difficult. That's what builds genuine trust. Not, a flawless track record. How you handle the stumbles matters.
Right. Handling the stumbles. That makes sense. So we know what it is.
Yeah.
How does this walking the talk actually impact the workplace? What are the tangible effects?
Well, the impact can be quite significant. It really ripples out.
Ripples out. How so?
Think about it. A senior leader who stays late, visibly working alongside the team during a crunch time, that sends a powerful message about dedication, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely shows commitment.
Or consider a manager who openly says, you know what, I made a mistake here. Let's figure out how to fix it. That models accountability. It makes it okay for others to be accountable too.
It creates psychological safety, maybe.
Precisely. And think about work-life balance.
Yeah.
If that same manager makes a point of respecting boundaries, maybe not sending emails at 10 p.m. unless it's a true emergency, that gives permission for employees to protect their own time without feeling like they're slacking off.
So it sets the kind of unwritten rules.
Exactly. The unwritten rules. And on the flip side, you see the negative impact too. Leaders who cut corners or who, always find someone else to blame.
Yeah, that's toxic.
It is. That behavior, unfortunately, becomes the norm too. It can breed cynicism, kill morale. The real culture isn't usually what's written in the employee handbook.
It's what people see leaders doing every day.
Spot on. It's lived behavior, starting at the top.
Okay, this is really clicking. Let's make it even more concrete. We looked at Satya Nadella at Microsoft. What can we learn from his approach?
Nadella's transformation at Microsoft is, well, a pretty compelling case study. When he took over, it wasn't just talk about culture change. He embodied it.
How so? What did he do?
He really focused on empathy, on fostering a growth mindset, the idea that abilities can be developed, and on inclusiveness. But these weren't just buzzwords for him.
Okay.
You saw it in his interactions, how he communicated, how he handled challenges. It was consistent. He lived those values.
So the key wasn't just saying we need empathy, but actually being empathetic in meetings and decisions.
Yeah, exactly. The insight is that his actions became the blueprint for the new culture. It wasn't just a memo from HR. It was driven by his own consistent behavior, day in and day out. People saw it, felt it was genuine, and it started to shift how everyone operated.
That's a powerful illustration of leading from the inside out. What about Indra Nooyi at PepsiCo? Our sources mentioned something quite human about her style.
Yes, Indra Nooyi provides another great angle. One thing that really stands out is her practice of writing letters.
Letters?
Personal letters, yes. To the parents of her senior executives.
To their parents. Wow. Why?
She wrote to thank them, for the support and sacrifices they made that helped their children succeed and reach those senior roles at PepsiCo.
That's unexpected and really personal.
It really was.
Yeah.
And these weren't generic notes. They were specific acknowledgments. It showed she saw her leaders not just as job titles, but as whole people with families and histories that mattered.
That goes way beyond just professional recognition.
It absolutely does. It was a deliberate, values-driven action. It modeled the kind of human-centered, empathetic leadership she wanted to cultivate throughout the company.
So both Nadella and Nui show it's about consistent, deliberate actions that reflect core values.
Precisely. And those actions fundamentally shape the culture in ways mission statements alone never can.
Okay, these examples really bring it home. Now let's pivot to the listener. Someone listening right now, maybe not in the C-suite, maybe a team lead, maybe just starting out. How can they start leading by example? Like tomorrow?
That's the crucial part, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because this applies at every level. First, I'd say, focus on being transparent.
Transparent. How?
Communicate openly. Share information when you can. Explain the why behind decisions or requests. And importantly, when things go wrong, be upfront about it, especially if you played a part.
So owning your mistakes, isn't that seen as weakness sometimes?
It can feel vulnerable, but actually it demonstrates incredible integrity.
Yeah.
Owning mistakes builds trust faster than almost anything else.
Okay, transparency. What's next?
Second, cultivate accountability. Take ownership not just for your tasks, but for your actions and their impact. If you're part of a team, take responsibility for the team's outcomes, the good and the bad.
So no finger pointing.
Right. It sets a standard that everyone is responsible for contributing and owning their part. Third, consciously model the culture you want.
How do you mean consciously model?
Think about the small things. Are you punctual for meetings? Do you come prepared? Do you really listen when others speak, respecting their time and input? Do you actively seek out and value different perspectives, even if they challenge your own?
Those daily habits.
Exactly. Those daily habits add up to define the team environment. They show what's valued.
Got it. Transparency, accountability, modeling the culture. Is there one more?
Yes, definitely. Make an effort to celebrate others.
Celebrate others, like give credit.
Be quick to share credit for successes. Acknowledge the hard work, the effort, the dedication of your colleagues. This is super important, especially during, uncertain times or big changes. Recognizing adaptability and resilience goes a long way.
So shining a light on the team's contributions.
Absolutely. It fosters collaboration and makes people feel genuinely appreciated.
When you really boil it down, then, it seems to circle back to that first idea. People watch what we do. Our actions just carry so much weight.
They really do. Often much more than our titles or our words. Leadership by example.
Yeah.
It might not always be the loudest method.
No trumpets or fanfare.
Right. But its impact is usually deeper and lasts longer. In a world that can sometimes feel full of corporate speak and jargon, authentic action, genuine behavior, that's what truly resonates.
It really forces you to shift the question from what's my job title to something more fundamental, like what am I actually showing people every day?
Exactly that. That self-reflection is so important for understanding the influence you have, no matter your role on the org chart.
Well, listener, we really hope this deep dive into leading by example has given you some valuable food for thought, maybe a fresh lens on your own impact at work.
Because the power to lead through your actions, well, that's something available to all of us.
It really is.
And maybe, just maybe, think about one small concrete action you could take, perhaps even today, to lead more effectively by example. What could that be?
Yeah, what ripple effect might that one small action have on your colleagues, on your team? Something powerful to consider.